They said, what do you do? Why do you do this? And I don't know where it came from, but I sort of turned to the journalist in a flip kind of way. I said, I dream for a living.
It's a weird thing. I mean, the jobs are all very different. Directing is my favorite because it means that the writing's done.
Movies are hard, and if I'm gonna be on a set, I want it to be my set.
But they're all critically important roles.
I never really had a career plan. We all have plans, we all make plans. It sometimes starts when you have to declare a major.
When I went to film school, everybody said, well, you're nuts. What are you going to film school for? Nobody from a film school had ever gotten a job in the film business. Just had never happened. So you were just doomed to be a ticket taker at Disneyland.
It's more important that you go off and learn what to make movies about than how to make movies.
One of the main advantages of being in a film school is when you take a history class or something, you actually got to see movies that you couldn't see. It's an amazing thing, the world you live in today. You can actually go down to a store and just get any movie that's almost ever been made. And you can see it, and then you can actually have the filmmaker, in the extra bonus disc, tell you how they made it and everything. That's basically what a film school was.
Be willing to work for nothing as a PA on a film. Get to know what filmmaking is. Please make at least one short film before you tackle a feature.
All right, and I actually got away really cheap. When it was all over, I knew how to make a movie. I didn't want to show anybody that, but I had the experience. I had it a lot cheaper than I would have gone if I'd gone to film school.
And it really did inform my storytelling.
I love this. I want to do this the rest of my life. And so I was lucky enough to find my path, my passion. Before that, I had passions. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to build cars. I wanted to create things.
First films that are trying to be genre films. No. Learn how to make a feature film with material that you're close to and where you have something to say, where you have to say it. You have to get it out of you. It's inside of you. It means something.
You see movies and they can be full of vision, and you want your movies to be like that. But you see these other movies that don't have any vision, but I'm sure the director tried. So what's the difference between this guy versus that guy?
Everything I did, I was following something I really cared about, something I loved, something I was passionate about, and I kept following that passion to my huge passion, my real passion, which was making movies, which combined all of those things.
Either because they don't have money or equipment or fear of failure. So my advice would be just go ahead and do it with the equipment you have, even a cell phone, and the determination to finish it with or without money.
Because the resources have been so limited for so long, there were a lot of people who would say, God, if I only had access to a camera, I would make a movie. There's a lot of talk about it. I remember when I was in college, I would spend most of my time in my room writing screenplays, really bad screenplays, but I was in my room doing that.
Make a movie every week in Super 8 or high def, write every night, and every weekend shoot for 2 days. And
make your movie. You can actually make your movie. You can find a friend who's got a Canon 5D Mark II. You look around, you can find people to use as actors, and you just can make your film, and people are doing that.
For nothing nowadays with a computer, and get a response. And get a response from the audience and see where it's slow and where it doesn't work and where your ideas weren't being communicated properly. Learn from that experience sitting in with the crowd, and then go out and make another picture the next weekend. And just keep doing it. Make films, no matter what anybody says, and you'll be a filmmaker.
It's not fun for a long time, and it is super hard, and I think that a lot of people think that, and I did, and I still do, think that making movies is super fun, and it's a very small fraction of the time that it's fun.
So I hope to see many different people using cameras than have used cameras in the past. And that's happening because we all have cell phones.
It just seems like every time I do a movie, 2 years later or something, the industry has moved even further away from how I do it, and everyone does it completely different, or the rules on sets and everything are just very, very different from the way I remember them.
It's funny, if you look at kids now making movies, as I did with Super 8 Film, they've got cameras and access to cameras that are often film resolution, professional film resolution, editing equipment that is on par in many ways with what is used professionally, visual effects, color correction software that allows for much of what is being done professionally.
But there is a lot more competition than there was when I was, like kicking around with El Mariachi. So you got, there's just a lot more to do these days. You got a lot more competition because everybody's got a camera now and everybody can edit, and it's tough.
You will have a hard time getting funding, which is fine. So make sure that you don't need a lot of money. You gotta make sure you can do it without support.
If you can't find money, then you've got to get really resourceful and make it happen for little to no money. But the bottom line is you got to get out there and do it, and don't let anyone or anything stop you.
How do you get that vision that's in your head? How do you get it on the screen? And he said, well, Quentin, you have to understand, as a director, you don't have to do that.
I mean, particularly with directors, I think it starts with you as a director getting people excited about your film. And if you're not excited about your movie and you don't want to spend the next 2 years of your life broke and miserable trying to get it made, and it's like, and you will stop at nothing.
I personally don't think that it's the director's job to have every single little detail perfectly envisioned.
Your job is explaining your vision. Your job is articulating to them what you want on the screen.
It's often better to talk to people about, how the characters are thinking, what the characters might be feeling, have it more on a discussion basis, and talk about the bigger ideas rather than going in on those micro little details.
And I'm watching the scene. I can actually even talk to the actors during the scene. I'm saying I do that all the time, but maybe I come up with a line. I throw the line at them, say that.
Directing isn't about being the smartest person on set. It's about assembling a team and leading them through the production.
And then all of a sudden, the whole mystical, shamanistic thing that I thought directing was just went boop, and I realized I could do that.
Isn't it groovy to be an independent filmmaker? I want to be an independent filmmaker.